Let's talk about how to save money fast with a low income. What's up guys, Nam here. If you're new to this channel, here I typically talk about personal finance and investing. Low income means differently in different parts of the country. Let's say you're someone who lives in the San Francisco Bay Area. For a single household, any income under $82,000, you're considered to have a low income. And if you live in Dallas, Texas, and if you make an income less than $29,000 a year, then you're considered to have a low income over there. So depending on where you live, low income will have different meanings. The main reason why they are so different is because both have different housing costs, taxes, and average wage earnings. No matter where you live in the United States, these tips will help you save money fast, especially if you're on a low income. All right, number one, have a budget. If this sounds obvious, it's because it is. I feel like in almost every video, I talk about the importance of having a budget. One of the key steps in learning anything is repetition. If you're a personal finance nerd like me, you probably listen to podcasts like Dave Ramsey.
Nancy's in Los Angeles. Hi, Nancy. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show.
So every week on Dave Ramsey's podcast, he brings on a guest and they do a debt-free scream.
3, 2,
1.
We're dead!
In the majority of all these guests, they said the single most important step in getting out of debt was having a budget. But how is having a budget going to help you save more money? You might have heard the common quote, if you fail to plan, your plan will fail. In the personal finance space, this is no different. Without knowing where every dollar is going, how are you going to really know how much can you really save? Once you put everything on paper, on a spreadsheet, or a tracking app, only then you can figure out your goals and how to get there. I have a free budget checklist in the description below to jumpstart your budget if you already don't have one already. Step 2. Have an emergency fund. This video is about how to save money fast, but yet I'm telling you to save for an emergency fund. If you haven't already, you can come check out this video up here to learn more about the importance of an emergency fund and how it can save you even more money. So the premise of an emergency fund is when life happens. When I'm talking about life when it happens, I'm talking about when your car breaks down or you're in need of an urgent dental situation. Aside from protecting you from life, it also allows you to save more money on things like insurance. Because by having an emergency fund in place, you can raise your deductible. So by having money saved, you're actually saving more money. The reason why this works is because you already set aside a set amount of money already. Because living on a low income, you can't afford to go into more debt. So once you're figuring out your budget plan, have your emergency fund included in it as well until you have it fully funded. When you're just starting out to get your budget on track, there might be things that you left out or forgot to account for. This could be annual expenses such as taxes or other items such as gifts or fees like car registration. I also made a video on this very topic and I'll share with you the link in the description below. Number 3, stop eating out. The obvious is to reduce or stop eating out. As much as I enjoy eating out as the next person, it is an expensive habit. In an article written by CNBC, about 49% of millennials are spending more money on eating out than they are saving for retirement. Now, let's run the numbers real quick. Say you're eating out for lunch every day and you're spending about $10 on Chipotle. So eating out 5 days a week for a month, that costs you about $200 every month. Now let's say you pack your lunch and each meal costs you about $5. So each month, you're spending about $100 just on lunches. So in reality, you're saving about $100 a month on lunch. Because you have to eat. Food is an expense that we have the most control of. I'm not going to tell you to eat ramen every day to save you money. The long-lasting effects of eating unhealthy far outweighs the savings. There are many ways that you can save money and also eat healthy. Just search here on YouTube and on Google. Number 4, plan your meals on a weekly basis. On the topic of food, every week you get grocery store flyers in the mail. Instead of creating your meal plan out of nowhere, plan your meals around what's on sale in your grocery store's flyer. Look at the biggest sales, then plan your meals based on those ingredients and what you have on hand. By buying foods that are on sale or in season, this will save you the most money on your monthly food bill. Not only are you saving money by buying the sales, it makes you much more efficient and productive when you know exactly what to eat that week. I'm not saying to plan every single meal 7 days a week. For me, I generally have an idea of what I'm going to eat at least 5 days out of the week. And the other 2, I'm either eating out or spending time with friends or family. So that way, I have some sort of a social life. Number 5, reduce housing cost. The single largest expense that most Americans have is housing. Living on a low income, you'll probably be renting. If you qualify for Section 8 or low income housing, then take advantage of it because you probably get the best rates by doing so. I understand some people will hear the name Section 8 and start thinking, really? Section 8? Section 8 or low-income housing gets a bad rep for crime and safety. But the truth is that many Section 8 rentals are privately owned and scattered throughout the city to keep families out of concentrated crime areas. If you're unable to qualify for any of these housing programs, then your next best bet is house hacking, which is a fancy way of saying living with roommates. While this is an excellent method of real estate investing if you own a place, but the same idea works even if you're a renter. Living with roommates is a form of house hacking which has been around forever. By living with roommates, you can greatly reduce your housing rather than living by yourself. Of course, living with others can be difficult, but that's why it's important to find a match that won't make you insane. Probably the best way to cut back on housing is to live with your parents. While this may not be sustainable long term, but in the meantime, as your career begins to pick up and you make more money, this is probably the most cost-efficient way in terms of saving money on housing costs. And if you're unable to live with your parents, then the next best option is to live with roommates to reduce your living costs. Number 6, automate your savings. This applies to everyone at any income level, whether you're paying down debt or saving for a car. By setting your savings to be taken out of your bank account at the beginning of every month, this protects you from yourself. I've been there before. I used to tell myself, whatever money that I haven't spent, I'll set that aside for savings. But that never worked, or it gave me inconsistent results. So when I started to have a definite number that I wanted to save each month, I made it a priority not to spend it. This guarantees that I'll be saving the amount of money that I set out to be, rather than hoping on what's left over every month. One of the biggest benefits of automating your savings is having more time. By turning your savings or investments automatic, this prevents you from thinking twice about how much to save. Automation also frees up your mind to focus on other things. Number 7, buy used on what you can. Since high school, I always enjoyed the art of buying and flipping things, especially shoes. I used to have quite a shoe collection. When I got tired of them or wanted to buy some other things, I would just sell them online. Most of my shoes, they were mint, and you could hardly tell that they were even used because I kept them in such great shape. I realized since I'm selling my used stuff online, why not buy other people's used things? Because I'm pretty sure there's plenty of great stuff out there that's in great shape and the owners just want to get rid of them. And that's how you get a steal. Here are a few things that I bought used in the past that I still love and still use today. Allen Edmonds McAllister wingtips. These retail for about $395. I got them off eBay for about $120. This Apple mouse. This retails for about $79 and I think I got it used for about 40 bucks. This is the iPhone 7 Plus. This retails for about $769 when it released. I got it for about $600 and this was years ago. Here's a pair of underwear. This retails for about $9.99 and I got it for $0. Alright, just kidding on that last one. I don't recommend buying used underwear. As you can see, these are a few things that I bought used a few years ago and they still work as they should today. The reason why I bought them used is that I know that they hold their value or of high quality that I know that they're going to last for quite some time. Out of most phones and electronics, Apple products tend to hold the best resale value. I bought my shoes used because I saw that there are plenty of life left in them, and Allen Edmonds, they have a recrafting program where they can restore their shoes back to a near original condition to further extend their life. And I'm pretty sure that these shoes will last most of my adulthood. Buying used items is not only a great way of finding great things, it's also much easier on your wallet. Number 8, being wise on purchases. Do your research on everything you buy, because being cheap is expensive. Because buying things just once will save you more money in the long term rather than saving in the short term. Everything has its value and you get what you pay for, whether you're buying a car, brand new clothes, or a new set of kitchen knives. Always do your research to get the most bang for your buck. When you have a low income, you can't afford to make repeat purchases on things that you use or depend on often. And to be honest, researching and trying to make the best purchasing decision is difficult and often takes a lot of time. We live in a review-based world now, and when buying something on Amazon, the first thing we look is the reviews, yo. I can't even go to a new restaurant without looking at Yelp. But since there's a large influx of fake reviews, it's hard to tell whether or not a product is actually good or not. So a lot of time is spent sifting through good and bad reviews. For example, a recent purchase I made was this portable hard drive. I first went on Amazon, then looked at the reviews and the warranty information. After doing a price comparison at different online stores, I finally came around where it was the best place to buy the new hard drive. Of course, this is a fairly simple way of buying something, but when you're looking to buy something more pricey, such as a computer or a car, this may take some more time on your part to try to figure that out. Having quality items give more of a sense of reliability in times of uncertainty. Number 9, sleep on big purchases. Whenever you're going to make any type of large purchase, sleep on it first. See if you feel the same the day after. If you still feel the same as the day before, then click that buy button. Time restraints are one of the biggest marketing tactics used, whether it's on some clothes or a new car. Salespeople in retail stores know how to give you that sense of urgency and pressure you to buy things before you really have the time to really think it through. Having a scarcity mindset can do a toll on your wallet. There will always be another sale or another chance to get something at a great price. You just have to be prepared for when that happens. By sleeping on it, this will help make better purchasing decisions rather than something on the spot. Number 10, find free or cheap hobbies. Just because your income is low now doesn't mean that you can't have fun. Having fun doesn't have to be expensive. A good hobby is something that's entertaining, fulfilling, and something that will enhance your life. Everyone needs a hobby, or 3, or 5. The best cheap hobbies are things that require little equipment or recurring fees. For example, snowboarding or skiing, that is not a cheap hobby because gear rentals and lift tickets, they really add up if you really want to go often. And by buying your own gear, that doesn't make it any cheaper. Here are some examples of low-cost hobbies. One of them is being fitness. A gym membership is nice, but to be physically fit, you really could do without one. If you search around YouTube, you can find many training programs that you could do at home. And it's free. Another one is making videos or photography. I wouldn't say anything around cameras are cheap. My camera setup right now, I would consider that to be expensive. But I didn't always have this camera. Nowadays, everyone has a smartphone, and the cameras of smartphones has came a long way. For me, I have the iPhone 7 Plus. This is not even the newest model, and it shoots 4K. This camera right here is the Canon PowerShot that I bought about 8 years ago, and it has worse quality than my iPhone's front camera right now. Aside from boasting the iPhone specs, shooting video or photography is not so much about the gear. I'm not saying that it doesn't matter because there comes a point where it does. But there are things like composition, storytelling, lighting, and so much more that goes into it that you can learn for free on your own time. There's actually films that's been shot on the iPhone. Most recently, there's a Netflix film called High Flying Bird that was all shot on a phone like this. Like for me, making YouTube videos is an awesome hobby that really doesn't cost me a dime to continue to do. It only costs me my time. And you never know. Some of your hobbies can eventually produce your full-time income someday. Some of the best businesses started out as hobbies. I make new videos every week. If you find this content helpful, be sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell. Come join me at my videos over here to learn more about personal finance.